And we are live. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to a much overdue scene for Rage Across New York for Living World of Darkness. It has been a little over a month since the kinfolk known as Bettina Stewart was judged by their kinfolk liaison of the East Coast, one of the highest ranking kinfolk in the Get of Fenris, if not the or the nation itself. Exiled, branded a traitor. She was sent with Blitzkrieg and his packmate, Contemplates the Mercy, back to Germany in a hope to end the tensions that the actions of the early spring and late spring and early summer caused. The two septs, the Sept of the Hunter and the Sept of Bloodfist, have been at each other's throats. And it was only until recently that an official war was declared. As it stands, the Sept of the Hunter, run by Jarl David Erickson Stewart, or better known as Breaks the Worm, is in a much more advantageous position, as they have outmaneuvered the Bloodfist in several ways and dwindled their numbers down. We start this scene with the trio from the Sept of the Green arriving after being delayed for some time now. Arriving at the Sept of the Hunter in the midst of wartime preparations, the various Get Garou sparring, crafting weapons and armor, engaging in the type of revelry one might expect in a camp of warriors of a great deal of prestige. As the three approach, the scent of blood hangs heavy in the air around the Black Forest. And here we start.
So at this point, Blitzkrieg would come in, confused as to why he would be delayed for almost a month, but it's fine. Basically, he goes to whomever's guarding the Sept. I want to speak to my father now.
The young man that stands in front of Blitz is about 6'5", built like a titan, nearly twice as wide, nearly as Blitzkrieg himself. And he simply looks Blitzkrieg over and is hesitant at first until he recognizes the man as the Jarl's son, or at least can confirm this in his memory of the last time that Blitz came to the Sept, and simply stands to one side. He's in the heart of the cairn.
As I expected, he kind of waves in, contemplates in Bettina.
Contemplates, walks beside you, doesn't say too much. He's looking to get this over and done with.
She'll come in after him.
And yeah, he's basically making his way to the heart of the Sept.
As they pass through the various lines of Garou and kinfolk, some of the Garou narrow their eyes and begin to look towards Bettina. Some of them question what they see, others begin to realize who she is. And it's when the whispers start. Those whispers turn into obviously unsubtle jeers in their native tongue that turn into growls And it isn't long before a stone comes in her general direction from the crowd.
Blitzkrieg is gonna try to smack it out of the air.
You
Oh,
can
shit,
do
I
so
need to-
easily.
I need just hold on 1 sec.
Mhm.
At this point, he pulls out Sunfaust and goes, "The next one who decides to toss a stone in my direction at all will be challenging me." And he just kind of looks at all of them with that fucking like "I will seriously murder you" stare, and then he keeps walking.
Bettina, you can feel the hatred coming off of these Garu as they look at you. They, all of them have a degree of disdain on the casual end all the way to pure and unbridled bloodlust held back only by who your company is currently inclusive of.
Anybody I know?
If you know anybody in this crowd, I would say that it's only in passing. These are not your septmates. These are the neighboring septs. There might be some that you might have recognized every now and then that had come through as emissaries. They seem to be the ones that pointed you out and singled you out from the crowd, or from at least to the crowd, I should say.
Okay.
And as you make your way forward, you'll begin to smell the blood in the air a little bit more clearly. You'll see racks erected around the heart of the cairn. You'll see individuals tied to these racks, their faces against the wooden constructs, their backs laid out for all to see, and the marks across their backs, very telltale signs of floggings.
I'm sorry, which sept is this?
The sept of the hunting sentinel, I believe. I gotta just double check.
Oh, up north?
Oh, the howling hunter, yes.
This is Blitzkrieg's family sept.
Bettina,
In
as
Germany?
you in Germany, yes. As you make your way towards the center of the sept, you notice that some of the individuals are individuals from your home sept, the Sept of the Bloodfist. And make me a perception and alertness roll.
Okay.
All of us? Or just her?
Just her, for right now. You notice a individual on one of the racks. A young man, roughly 5 or 6 years older than you. One of the Garu from your sept. He wasn't a prominent figure. When you left, he was just finishing his right to challenge the Fosterin. His name is Kevin, and he looks as though he's been assaulted, to say the least. His cheek is swollen to the point where his left eye is completely shut. His lips are broken with the scars of many impacts to the face, whether it be from weapons or fists, and the skin on his back is almost peeling off in some sections. You can see that the tides of war have not gone well for your home.
Okay.
Blitzkrieg, as you make your way in, you see an individual standing as a member of your sept is being flogged, likely for insubordination of some kind. It's really hard to tell exactly from where you're standing, though he stands and watches over this until you finally make your presence known.
I didn't know we descended into barbarism while I wasn't looking.
Breaks the Worm will turn back towards Blitzkrieg.
Hello, Father. He smiles.
David.
Blitzkrieg, actually. You know the drill. He smirks.
Yes, I suppose so. How my son has grown into himself.
Indeed. Again, with the barbarism, as he's looking at the racked prisoners, wouldn't it have just been easier to kill them?
Many have already died. These are ones that we have plans for. And then, of course, those that don't follow orders.
Those who don't follow orders are... yes, if they're flogged, that is their punishment for not obeying the Alpha. Still. He kind of nods over to the one that's from Bloodfist.
The young man seems to be as stone-faced as he can be, though he looks extremely roughed up, to say the least. But he returns the nod as best he can before Blitzkrieg's father beckons his attention. So have you come to assist us in our endeavor?
I need to know exactly what the hell your endeavor is. Are you attempting to destroy Bloodfist due to some grave error on their part? Or are you seeking to destroy Bloodfist to satisfy some right of vengeance you claim on my behalf? Because the second one, I consider invalid.
What occurred with this one, and he'll gesture in the general direction of Bettina before passing back over her to Blitzkrieg. What occurred was an insult. A bargain was struck to make peace between our two septs. It was broken.
Of that I offer no argument. What I think can be arranged is perhaps another better match. And perhaps one that is less rife. I do not intend to watch a Sept of Gaia fall because of an insult given to me.
The last time you were here, you forced me to acknowledge your legitimacy as my own. Any insult that comes upon you, therefore, is an insult on me. I offered the Jarl of Bloodfist a means to an end to make sure that our two septs did not come to this. He was not willing to accept my terms.
What were the other terms?
The first was to offer his neck in a show of submission,
Okay.
something that he was bound not to accept. The other was to absorb a number of kinfolk from his sept to ours. He was not amenable to this either.
Why?
The Jarl just very slowly turns his eyes towards Bettina. It speaks.
Yes, and you make no fucking sense.
Blitzkrieg actually puts his hand over his eyes. It's just like...
Why didn't he accept to submit some kinfolk? That's how his family line was accepted. We tell great legends of it. Why
have
wouldn't he
no-
do that?
Contemplace looks amused, like, well, clearly this one is stupid. She has no caring for her life. It's
You
almost as if he worth nothing.
I ask you to indulge her, sir, if only for the fact that I was going to ask a similar question.
Yeah, because we're all equals, right?
Because what?
Because we're all equals, right?
Contemplates do not make me. And then he turns back to his father.
Audible laughter. It's really sarcastic.
I see the get from the Americas are very crass.
Let's call us spirited.
The Jarl of Bloodfist did not find the ratio of kinfolk that I requested to be reasonable.
And he looks at him and goes, what is the ratio?
All of them.
All of them.
I can see why he was upset.
Apparently. So he kind of looks at his father and goes, alright. So more kinfolk. What would that have done? Absorb them, I mean. How would that have erased this threat? Oh, I'm sorry, erased this insult. I'm still unclear.
It's more of a penance, really, than erasing a threat. I take this as an egregious insult, and he denied to acknowledge it, at least to my satisfaction.
Okay. What I propose is that I speak with the Jarl of Bloodfist. I'm not promising you 100%, as that is very unreasonable, and I believe you know so. I also believe...
There's a look in Breaks the Worm's eyes as though Blitzkrieg will be able to recognize it instantly, that he knows his father to be unreasonable, at least enough that likely this event, this chain of events, was simply an excuse for him to use politically.
That's why he's totally like, yep. He's totally like, yep. I have the power in this situation, because if I say, yeah, that was total bullshit, a lot more of the Get Seps are going to be real pissed off. That's why Blitzkrieg marches in here with the fucking, like, thunder he did. He knows the situation, and he knows he's got all the power.
What exactly do you plan to do, Blitzkrieg?
I plan to end this stupid war before more Gauru die, sir. I do not feel that Gauru blood should be shed for the indiscretions that landed on my back door.
Indiscretions I see that you forced a kinfolk to deal with, as you were not willing to.
I asked Grandmother Helga to review the situation, as she is the liaison for kinfolk in the Americas. It is her jurisdiction to review these matters to make sure that no one is abusing the kin. Were I to have done what was in my heart to do at the time, I would have been seen as abusing kin, and therefore breaking our law.
She was your kinfolk and meant to be kept in line. You failed to do this.
She was. Oh, and he looks at his father, and he gets this Cheshire-ass grin, and he's like, "My kinfolk? Oh, you mean the one you sold me to? Is that my kinfolk, or was I her Garu? Can you clarify? I'm sorry, Father. I'm confused on the meaning here of the words you're speaking."
Don't toy with me, David.
I'm not toying with you, Father. You're being kind of intentionally a jerk, and I'm not really sure why.
Do you think what you're about to set out on is going to bear any fruit?
Well, I know that as we sit and trade dick jokes at one another and kill Gauru who cannot mount a reasonable defense, New York has had to deal with several worm problems while I've been over here. So in order to get that resolved so I can go back to protecting my sept, I need to deal with this and them and you. That's what's going on here.
When you say deal with him, he raises a brow. But
What?
lets it go. As he shakes his
You know,
head.
it will bear fruit because Bloodfist is in no position to not. They can either deal or they can die. I'd really rather they didn't die. Because killing Gauru needlessly is not my idea for fun time. We can beat them in combat, we can outmaneuver them politically, but actually killing them when we need them to fight the worm, I think we both know that's a really bad idea.
And what do you plan to do with it? And he'll gesture towards Bettina.
I will deliver her back to Bloodfist and allow them to make whatever concessions, make whatever excuses or apologies they require. After that point, she's their problem.
You do know if you deliver her back, they'll kill her, right?
There's a bridge we will come to. We'll cross when we come to it. I do not believe they will. I believe that me going to them under the olive branch of peace will mean that they will understand exactly that if they anger me, well, frankly, Daddy, you're looking for an excuse, so.
Either you're a hopeless romantic or you have a plan. I'm betting on the second one.
I'm cool with both. And he lights a cigarette. He offers one to his father.
His father will look at it, consider it. I've tried to quit. I don't need to start back up, at least not now.
Ugh. Quitter. And smiles. And he actually kind of deigns to hug his old man. He's just like, I hate you, but you don't deserve the anger you don't deserve the bitterness I have toward you. Not as much as I think you do.
He kind of just puts an arm out and just kind of pats Blitzkrieg across the shoulder and chest, and it's just that look of please as he goes in for a hug. At least at the very least, something of not in front of everybody.
Meh. Old man, are you allowing the words of your lessers to affect your opinion?
I'm not a huge fan of public displays of affection.
True. Okay, that does make sense.
I will make sure that word is sent that, for now, the lines remain quiet.
Thank you.
You have 2 days.
Give me a challenge, why don't you? He cracks his knuckles. He looks at Bettina. You ready to return home?
Let's go.
And so we go forth. True to his word, breaks the worm, ensured that the Sept of the Howling Hunters forces pulled back their assault, pulled back their lines, and made sure that all was quiet. As contemplates Bettina and Blitzkrieg make their way across the lands of the Umbralscape, at least, of the Black Forest. We begin to notice that the area is starting to take on the resonance of a very bloody and very the area is quickly starting to take shape along the lines of what has been going on here. The air is cold and still. And even though the echoes of those that have been lost in this recent battle and along many of the other battles from the past, it is eerily quiet as they make their way through the woods. The trees are taller in some ways, more foreboding. The air seems to be devoid of color in some sense. An almost an ashen look to everything dominates the landscape.
As he looks at basically he's looking at the crops of trees to see if there are any markings to the line of, basically to the line of this is official, the Bloodfist Bond.
Eventually, you will get to the point where you'll notice it, but you notice that many of the trees here are scarred with the marks of blades and other various weapons. Arrows litter the ground. It is filled with the stench of death, and small banes have crept their way in, as close as they dare go, at least, to a get-controlled sept to feast on the suffering that has occurred here. They skitter about, and when they spot the trio, they immediately skitter away, being of such a lowly degree of essence. They want nothing to do with the two Garu and the kin.
Contemplates looks audibly upset, frustrated, and almost insulted.
Hmm.
When Bettina left, her sept was actually having problems with creatures that she couldn't fathom. Um, the undead, the monstrous undead. And she would go into the umbral scape, and it did look similar to this. This is a place where her large gray fur coat that she arrived in doesn't look out of place. And she's wearing it now. It's home.
Bettina, as you enter into your home umbralscape, the dark wood that you grew up in, that you've hunted in, that you've known for a good part of your life, now more than ever there seems to be a shift, and that there is a palpable sense of dread in the air. There is a feeling. It feels familiar to you, as though something that's been lingering here ever since you were born and well beyond that. A unseen presence in the night that made you tremble at times when your constitution was at its weakest. Seems to be now more formidable than it ever has been. It eats at you. You can feel it down to the very core and marrow of your bones. Something that had been slumbering here has awoken, and you can easily sense it as an ill omen.
He contemplates, he looks at Bettina.
Yes, I feel it too.
We need to get to the sept. We can hunt this thing down, hopefully, after talking with the sept. He kind of cracks his knuckles again.
This is the
And
sept
as
of Deutschland. It will not fall so easily.
he lifts back his head and just howls a greeting, advising that he is Blitzkrieg of the Sept of the Green, and he wishes entrance onto the lands of the Blood Fist. And he whispers. So he says that he brings, contemplates the mercy also of the Sept of the Green and Bettina Stewart, without giving any identifiers as to tribe or status.
A howl echoes back, simply telling them to stay put, that they will come no further without escort, and that any weapons that they bring with them should be visible and not hidden.
Sunfaust is out and on fire.
My sword is out, and you see a thin film of frost on it.
As you wait, and only for a few minutes, Bettina, make me a perception and awareness roll, please. Hot damn.
What's
Okay.
the DC?
Standard.
A lot. You beat it. How about that?
With 4 successes, you feel something almost call to you. And in the corner of your eye, you can notice something off to the east, something in the distance. It moves. It's large. And you can hear it almost whispering words of a language you've never heard, you've never even fathomed. Just in the very darkest places in your mind. And it seems to feed on any sensation that she's had over the past few months of dread, or frustration, or fear, or grief. And you can feel that wet blanket almost over your shoulders as despair sort of creeps in the back recesses of your mind and starts to fill your thoughts. If you would please make me a willpower roll, difficulty 8.
Okay.
Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's the fact that you feel empowered being in your homeland. You feel as though you can stave this off, as though it's nothing. You're imagining it. It is your own misgivings about everything that has occurred almost messing with you in some way, almost troubling you, as though your mind is playing tricks on you.
Would that be anything like what one of the Guardians Frick does?
No. This is something else entirely.
Okay. But we're not in the sept yet.
No.
It's dangerous out here.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
No, if we stay out here too long, we'll be driven mad. The whole area is cursed.
Some homecoming.
Well, we're traditionally challenged at the front gate, so.
He's waiting. These people show up? Jesus.
Eventually you do see a small procession of Get. They make their way to where Blitzkrieg is, to where Contemplates and Bettina are. The expressions on their faces are hardened and tested, but they look exhausted. They look worn down. One steps forward, young man of maybe 25 at most, a large axe in hand. And he looks to Bettina first. He regards her. And there is a look of... a slight look of confusion. As though he's not quite sure how he wants to regard you. And he looks then to Blitzkrieg.
He nods. He points a hand toward Contemplates.
You are from the Sept of the Green.
Mm-hmm.
you bring this one home.
Indeed.
He takes a deep breath. And he looks to contemplates. Looks the sword over. Looks to Blitzkrieg. Looks over his fetish hammer. And then looks to Bettina. Have you anything to say for yourself?
You should go to America.
And why is that?
You would do well there.
No, I don't know, August. I will roll just a standard perception empathy on that. With 4 successes, what is she getting at?
While it's true that it is City of the Worm, as the flagship sept of Germany regards that place, it yields a lot more than our small little patch. We would do well there. We would make a killing there. Dad was right.
We would. Though I wouldn't discredit the threats we have here now. Both from within the nation and without.
Seem to be battling a threat on 2 fronts. Is this correct?
Your father picked the most opportune time to lay down an assault upon us.
Nods. Indeed he did. Believe me, I do not find his methods agreeable at all.
To be fair, nothing about this place has been agreeable over the past few months.
It's almost as if Gaia herself is pissed.
That I could deal with.
When did this occur?
I suppose the rumblings of it started sometime in the spring. We sent out war parties, scouting parties rather, to check. Black Forest has been angry as of late.
Oh.
Whispers. Despair and dread have been here in abundance, and it has seeped into much of the land, into the minds of Bloodfist.
You
Maybe
feel this
it's-
everywhere you go? Or just here?
Unless you're in the
So-
direct heart of the cairn, it feels this way everywhere. Our scouting parties that we sent off to the east never returned. And we've noticed that the influx of Banes we've been fighting, of trying to fight off the Howling Hunter, have increased coming from that direction too.
So the Banes are coming from Howling Hunter, you believe?
No, to the east.
Oh, sorry.
Father attacks from the west.
Hmm.
And we're caught right here in the middle.
Hmm.
As if the leeches weren't enough to deal with.
Well then, to business. Based on what you're saying here, you seem to be inundated with threats. Is this correct?
Hello.
That would be a understatement. We fight night and day, it seems.
I'm going to then suggest a plan that will sound insulting. I do not mean it as an insult, I mean it as a method to buy time. Do you understand?
It's not my place to really validate or invalidate what you have to say. That's the Jarl's privilege and the Jarl's privilege alone.
And I need to speak with the Jarl.
He'll look to Bettina. Then let's go. I'm sure he'll be happy to see you.
Surely. Entschuldigung.
As they make their way deeper into the heart of the cairn, or deeper into the sept, the feeling still stays with the trio. But it does begin to subside, at least somewhat, the closer and closer you get to the heart. When they reach the set grounds proper, in the actual cairn itself, the Guardians are almost unmistakable by the look of exhaustion on their face, the scars of battle along their arms and legs and backs. Many of them don fresh wounds, some by weapons, others by fire and claw. It is obvious that some of their wounds are from Garu, but others that are most certainly not. Strange bite patterns on their arms that weep and fester slightly. The kinfolk within the that are able to be in the cairn are wild-eyed, and if it weren't for their own bloodline, for who they are, how they were raised, it would be a look of panicked fear. It simply looks as though they are on edge, ready to act at a moment's notice. The Theurges remain in circles in ritual, asking for blessings of various spirits to help them in their endeavor against the worm and the invading sept from the west. As Bettina approaches, along with Blitz, and contemplates, she'll notice an individual who is of some esteem, the Jarl of the Sept. And he is sat amongst some other warriors at a table, looking over various battle plans, talking amongst themselves.
Blitzkrieg is at this point just waiting for the acknowledgement. He's not gonna butt in just in case they're discussing like something super important.
Where's her dad?
Sitting at the table.
Vater.
She'll look up, or he'll look up, sorry, and immediately step up.
Geht's in.
I don't speak German
Okay. She's
at all.
Okay. She said very formally, we are all here. Like, this is the entirety of the party. And I won't throw in any more German after this.
Thank you.
Um,
He walks over to his daughter and he just lets out a sigh. It's very clear that he wants to reach out to her, to touch her, hold her. But given what the circumstances of her return, he doesn't. He just simply regards her with tired and melancholy eyes. This is not how I expected you to return, daughter.
No. I didn't expect it either. I didn't expect to be here.
Why?
Vater, life here has never been good. You know this. It's never been good. We've never had a moment's peace. And I felt a temptation the first time that I was happy. Was not worth it. But I did so anyways.
What do you see yourself as now, child?
Mm-hmm. I was told I was human. But I know myself to be dead. Because I've been told such several times now.
He looks to Blitzkrieg.
hmm.
You came here as an emissary. For what purpose?
He just kind of he kind of regards him up and down, goes, Jarl. I come here for two purposes. One of which is to deliver your child. She has violated the agreements made by my father and yourself, and therefore should be returned to you unharmed. Any harm that she has met was delivered by grandmother Helga, whom I'm sure you know, who is the liaison for kinfolk in the Americas, or on the east coast of the Americas. He points to the brand. This mark, and then I think there was like a whipping at some point. I don't remember. And then he points to like like the cloth on her stomach, whatever she's wearing. He points to her shirt, like around where her stomach would be. That was a wound inflicted by another, but should be healed as of now. And that person, I believe, was to be punished by the elders of my sept. But the person who wounded her was Get, and apparently there was an argument. You know how we can be.
Child. You violated so many things. Agreements, treaties.
Marriage beds.
He just regards Blitzkrieg and shakes his head. You
Mine too.
violated many things that we have stood for. More grievously, you violated my confidence in you as my child.
I didn't know you had confidence in me. No. No, I understand. Although I did not understand that it would bring about war. I didn't understand. I thought I was merely given away because of my high pure breed. I did not understand that it was for peace. Probably would not have ventured outside of the sept. Much as kinfolk do in Bloodfist, I would have stayed within.
I didn't think you needed to be informed. I thought your values were better than that. And I was wrong.
Blitzkrieg looks at her father and goes, Jarl, I do not wish to pour salt in this particular wound. I'm merely here for, again, the two reasons. The second reason is, as you said, as something of an emissary. My reputation as someone who is fair and honorable is known through the Garu Nation, as is the reputation of my pack member, Contemplate the Mercy.
Tales of your exploits have reached our ears.
I wish to, at this time, propose a radical solution. This will sound radical, and I'm warning you ahead of time. Do you understand?
If you're worried about me flying off the handle, believe me, boy, there are much more pressing matters than hypothetical situations.
He nods. I wish to deliver what would be a modified surrender from this cairn to the Sept of the Howling Hunter, with the provision that if my father and our warbands are, what's the word? Strong enough, essentially, to cleanse this forest of whatever, this area of whatever taint, you be allowed to come back and live here and act as warder. I'm sorry, act as alpha of this component of the Sept, or this component of the Protectorate. This will, and he just kind of at the Blitzkrieg shuts up and just kind of gives him the eye. Look at your warriors. Look at them. They fight a war on two fronts when this need not be the case. You have fresh reserves a couple of miles away. You have not only your troops, but some of the strongest troops in the Black Forest literally over there. Will you allow your pride to kill your people? Will you allow your Sept to join with the stronger one for the length of time it takes to cure this place of whatever taint surrounds it? That's the important part. I'm not important. You're not important. What's important is Gaia. So, if Gaia is the most important thing, having what feels like, and he points outside, whatever that is, lingering on your doorstep, is not a good idea. You know the creature I fought, and you know exactly where it lay, and you know exactly how we destroyed it.
Perception empathy, is he considering this?
Holy shit. Them dice dough.
You know your father well enough to know that this is not something he is at all even thrilled about entertaining. But you notice that his eyes do, for the briefest of moments, with that many successes, the Stonewall that you've known as your father, you notice that his eyes leave as Blitzkrieg speaks of the condition of the warriors of Bloodfist. And he looks around at the various guardians and other members of the Sept that all look in strung out shape.
5 successes. Is my dad a whipped little puppy dog?
That's really putting it very, very harshly, but he is... He's thinking about it. He's considering it, yes. If for no other reason that there are a great number of lives in his hand.
The reason I ask this is a simple one. The reason I come to you, while not on begging knee, but as an emissary of the Howling Hunter, is
because you're in a more advantageous position.
I'm sorry, the Sept agreed is at war with your Sept? I was unaware. And you notice a spark from the hammer, kind of there's a bit of a flare from the hammer.
So you're not here working with your father, then?
I'm here working for the good of Gaia. Whether or not my father is following that same ideal is up to him. I'm here working for the good of all of our septs, because frankly, I don't think any of you are truly doing them justice. And believe me, I don't aim that squarely at you. Where you, and then he stops and kind of takes a breath. He's like reining in his obvious like anger and upset at the condition of Bloodfist, and it's like, Jarl, I wish this sept to be cleansed because I have witnessed a destroyed sept. The Uktena sept in the Americas was devastated, as Bettina herself can attest, for she rode with me in battle. Their elders were tied to rocks and ritually sacrificed to appease the Black Spirals because they decided that being insular was a good idea. We do not have time for that anymore. We are watching the condition of this, and frankly, my father's being an overbearing asshole, but he will agree to this if I have to force him myself. He knows the stakes we play for.
He looks to Bettina. Is this true?
Her eyes are watering up. What the hell, both of you? I just came from a sept where there's a little kid that's picking flies off of bugs because it makes him feel better. And then I come to you, and you're gonna surrender after all we've faced for almost 20 years. Because I fucked a human. You're not Garu. I'm a shitty kinfolk, but you're a shitty Garu.
I deck her in the face.
Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, no, roll them dice, Gil.
God damn, it's been a while since I played this asshole. Okay.
Go on, have your little temper tantrum. Make you feel better, make you feel strong.
It's up to you, Benny. Looks like I totally whiffed it, though.
Did you miss? You are terrible.
Good.
Actually, instead of you whiffing, if you don't mind me grabbing the narrative end of this for a sec, you will?
Well, I need to roll something real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll them bones.
Wow, okay. Not what I expected. Yeah.
Yep, you expected a frenzy. Didn't happen, baby. Sit down.
He snarls at Bettina.
His miss and that guy's control. His eggs on her tears, like, God.
I guess contemplates whiffs and like hits the tree next to her and like puts an indent in the tree. What the fuck is your issue? What is your malfunction? Are you fucking serious right now?
Are you fucking serious? The fuck are these two septs doing? How the fuck is this important?
Blitzkrieg looks at her and goes,
You do realize this is your fucking fault, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Your ego is a big
goddamn
major focus of my life. Yes, it is.
Yes,
and
it
I am
is.
sorry that I fucked him. It was great. It was great when I did it. It was the greatest couple of hours I've ever lived in my life. And I'm sorry I did it. Because, man, the temper tantrums that y'all threw was not worth it. Wasn't worth it.
Blitzkrieg at this point.
Fucking sad that you can't pull it together. That neither of you can. Are you kidding me? A war on two fronts. Because of what I did with a human.
Contemplates is gonna give her like
Hold on.
He's gonna give Blitzkrieg a look like, if you don't get her, I'm gonna get
At this point,
Well, I think.
her.
I'm trying to do a thing here, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do your thing.
At
I was
this
getting
point,
bored by just listening.
I got you. Blitzkrieg shifts up kind of involuntarily into Greenos, and he kind of like grabs Bettina by the arm, and he goes, "Sir," he's barely controlling himself. Actually, he's pretty well controlling himself, but whatever. He goes, "Sir," and he kind of pushes Bettina over to her father. Goes, "While I had yet to remove my claim on her as my kin, I do so now. She is your daughter. I release her into your mercy, hoping mercy is the thing you choose. She is young and does not know the ways of the world. Bringing her into an active wartime sept was probably a problem. Perhaps you have an older daughter, someone who knows more. But for now, Blitzkrieg shifts back down into Hamid. You actually see sort of the strain of him shifting himself back down into Hamid, and it's like, but for now, this cairn is more important to me. Saving the lives of the Garou here is more important to me. If I have to personally fight to kill every single goddamned Bane in this area to help cleanse it, be that as it may. But then he gives a really, really stern look over to Bettina, and he's like, but the most important thing is to make sure these Garou live.
Racial cleansing is illegal. International.
As my teenager says, racial cleansing is illegal.
Why is he giving her a stern look? That's what she just said.
The Jarl, as Bettina is.
Oh, okay.
Is,
hold on.
well,
Sorry, just to explain. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Vin.
Yeah.
He's explaining that he agrees with her, and she needs to scale it back before she gets punched in the face by her own father.
Gal.
Kinfolk are finding that is not necessarily a merit in this game. As Bettina is pushed towards her father, and as Blitzkrieg speaks at length, his hand comes out to stop her from going past him. And at this point, he's not even regarding her. His hand just resting against her clavicle. And the fingers just begin to curl up around her neck. And his eyes are locked on Blitzkrieg. He's not even regarding her. What daughter?
He stops. Blitzkrieg at this point goes, she's part of the deal.
Are you honestly fucking surprised?
He looks over, contemplates, and smiles. He gives him a wry smile. And goes, your mercy to her, for Howling Hunter's mercy for your people. Seems like a small price to pay.
He'll throw Bettina to the ground and stand on the back of her neck,
Ow.
drawing out his clave. You would ask for clemency for this wayward. Someone who's clearly lost her mind.
Why, Blitz?
Wait, what?
Why? She's clearly not worth this. She has little regard for us, our people, as she just clearly stated.
Actually, if you listen to her words instead of her tone of voice, Mr. Philodox, you would have heard what she was saying is, it's not worth killing these Gauru because we're having ourselves a little boar squabble like two fucking rednecks. We are not the Hatfields and the fucking McCoys. We have a big game to play for. She understands that. She just has a penchant for sucking cock, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying I accept her back. I'm not saying that I love her, although I can write you poems or some shit to explain why the power of love should win out here. But I am saying that perhaps she will do good back under her family's tutelage. Perhaps even be reinstated back into the Get of Fenris should she prove herself.
So you're saying redemption.
It's a
Is
good
that
idea.
what you're telling me?
Is that a bad idea?
In her case, I don't think she's worth it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're not the one to judge that. And he walks over.
I guess blessings do come in small grievances.
And he smiles. He smiles and pats contemplates the mercy on the shoulder and walks over to her father.
Kind of shrugs. Whatever.
And he's basically stepping on the other, that'd be great. No, sorry. He's basically on the other side of Bettina, where his father with the Clive in his hand. And he goes, at one point, you believed that this child was strong enough to marry one who was I was Adrin at the time, to marry an Adrin in a wartime sept. Is this correct?
Conceded.
Then, while I do understand bitches be cray, which has no German translation at all, but whatever. While I understand that the bitches be cray, we must, wasting even a kinfolk life at this juncture would be ill-advised. Put her on the front lines. Let her fight the peril. Perhaps she will earn her keep and show that she's worthy of our tribe again.
What Get would take her back.
If she proves herself a fucking hero, I'm sorry, I'm not in the business of discarding heroes. You?
If.
He just kind of rolls his eyes.
Rolls his eyes back. I'm sorry, I'm not fucking fan club Bettina.
I didn't say you were. And believe me, I'm the one she fucking cheated on, asshole. So, please.
Just hurry this shit out. Got shit to do.
Kind of flips him the fur. Fuck off, you wanker. Anyway.
He'll look down
back
at
to-
Bettina. Press her face into the mud.
A battlefield execution, or her redemption, in the eyes of Gaia. To one you were willing to risk sending to a wartime sept in the heart of a worm-infested city. I think that sounds a fair challenge.
He'll look down.
He looks over. He looks over and contemplates as the unofficial master of challenge.
I don't accept it. Deal with it.
I'm not a master of challenge here, boy. And he'll look down at Bettina.
She can't talk. Her mouth is pressed into the mud.
That is a valid point, Vinny.
Yeah. All right. He'll take his foot off of her. Look down at her. Do you even have any hint of a desire to be a get once again?
I still was brought up to hate the worm.
Given that you are my child, I could at least give you some thought as to how you could choose to go out. Would you be willing to face down a threat to not just Bloodfist, but any sept in this entire protectorate, to regain your name, to regain the blood, or at least the backing to your blood?
On condition that I also be given the challenge afterwards, after I complete it, with flying colors. Also that I be given the challenge to redeem myself in America by fighting the worm there.
Good fucking luck with that one.
Oh my god. Oh, damn, you're greedy. Alright, baby. Damn, I knew I liked you. Alright. And he kind of puts his hand through his hair, and he just, the sheer, like, balls of it. Oh, God.
And if Blitzkrieg is going to enjoy his little laughter there, she's going to say to Dad, quick in German, I was good there, Dad. I was good. I killed them. I rode on the backs of wolves. I rode with the Garu, and I killed their foes.
He'll respond back in German. Of course you did. You're my daughter.
Blitzkrieg actually, like, takes the guy, like, offers his hand to the Jarl, and is just like, you raised one excellent psychopath of a daughter, sir. And I mean that with all the love and respect in my heart.
You think she's bad, you should see her mother. He'll grab Bettina
Out
by
of
the back.
character, yeah, her mom actually is crazy.
How to create a diplomatic incident. Sorry.
He'll reach down and grab Bettina by the back of her coat and, with one motion, pull her back to her feet. If these Garu are willing to stand with you, take them east. You'll find your death or redemption there.
And then he goes, well, at this point, Blitzkrieg goes, and the Sept of the Howling Hunter, what shall we say to them? I honestly, and he's looking at the like, broken reserves, basically. The, like, broken, it's like, your people need food. I'm sorry, your people need a chance to rest. If we hurry now, we can mount a reasonable force to attack whatever is in the east. We will not be as slaves. And he kind of points to him. He kind of points to his own forehead and goes, my other people do not take kindly to such things. You will be as, well, as you are now, really. More of a...
He just simply shakes his head and holds his hand up. I will speak to your father. And if there is a deal to be made, it'll be made. If not, she will not have a home to come to. At least
He kind of looks at the Jarl and he's like, Jarl, sir, the reason why I came rather than my father was because we both know how he is.
This is nothing to do with a deal being broken. This has everything to do with his lust for glory.
Blitzkrieg raises a single finger and goes, while I agree, let's not speak that into the open air. I do not wish my father insulted a second time. But you are correct. He is eager for fights. Well, you have a fight to give him. Yes?
3 of you head east. I'll head west and speak to Breaks the Worm. And we'll see if this can be resolved in a honorable challenge. The Sept will not end its sovereignty without a fight. In some way, shape, or form.
I suggest a dance-off. He smiles. Your
Jarl
daughter
will look to Bettina. Guard her. Come back as a get, or not at all. You understand this?
I want to use a really nifty German word that means game on, but it doesn't really translate.
Ah.
But it was really nifty.
Use it then. Go for it.
Say that she said it, but she looked dead serious. She does with everything.
Jawohl. I'm not even sure if that's German out of character.
It is, it is.
Okay. To that end, they will be given provisions. And a spear will be handed off to Bettina. Spear like she had used many times before. When you head east, there's a cavern. It served as a crypt for our heroes for generations. You'll find what you're looking for there.
Blitzkrieg looks at, contemplates. Ready to ride?
Yeah, asshole, let's go.
Fuck you too, beautiful.
Mhm.
And yeah, so they set out. With Blitzkrieg makes sure to write a note to his father and hands it to the Jarl to be like, yeah, you might want to know that this is not an attack.
He'll take the note and gather some of his men to head to the west. And with time constraints as they are, we will call this part 1 of our scene. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching.
Sweet.